Most people believe anger comes from other people. They think they are angry because someone disrespected them, someone ignored them, someone lied to them, someone behaved badly. But the truth is, anger is often not caused by other people alone. It is caused by the meaning we attach to what happens. Two people can experience the exact same situation and react completely differently. One person gets deeply offended. The other stays calm. Why? Because emotional control is not about controlling the world. It is about controlling your interpretation of the world. Today, we are going to talk about how to stop getting angry or emotionally bothered by anyone. Not because you become emotionless, not because you stop caring completely, but because you become mentally stronger, calmer, and more emotionally free. Most people spend years allowing strangers, coworkers, family members, relationships, and social media to control their emotional state. One rude comment ruins their day. One rejection destroys their confidence. One disagreement creates stress for hours. And slowly, they give other people too much power over their peace. But emotionally strong people understand something important. Not everything deserves a reaction. One of the biggest reasons people get angry easily is because they take everything personally. Someone ignores them, and they immediately assume disrespect. Someone criticizes them, and they feel attacked. Someone disagrees with them, and they feel emotionally threatened. But the reality is this: most people are fighting battles you know nothing about. People project their pain constantly. Hurt people. Insecure people criticize others. Angry people spread anger. And emotionally immature people often create unnecessary conflict. When you understand this deeply, you stop taking every negative behavior personally. Sometimes people are rude because they are unhappy. Sometimes people are disrespectful because they lack emotional control. Sometimes people are negative because they hate their own lives. And none of that has to become your emotional burden. One of the greatest forms of power is emotional detachment. Detachment does not mean you stop loving people. It does not mean you become cold. It means you stop allowing everything to emotionally control you. You learn to observe behavior without absorbing it. That changes everything. Most people react instantly. Someone says something rude, and immediately anger takes over. Someone disappoints them, and immediately they explode emotionally. But calm people create space between the event and the reaction. And inside that space is power. Because when you pause before reacting, you regain control over yourself. You stop becoming a prisoner of emotion. Another reason people get angry easily is because they expect too much from others. They expect everyone to be mature. They expect everyone to be honest. They expect everyone to understand them perfectly. But human beings are flawed. People make mistakes. People disappoint. People misunderstand. And the faster you accept human imperfection, the less emotionally disturbed you become. Many arguments happen because people try desperately to control others. They want people to think a certain way, behave a certain way, agree with them constantly. But peace begins when you stop trying to control everything around you. You cannot control other people. You can only control yourself. That truth is incredibly freeing. The calmer you become internally, the less chaos around you affects your peace. And emotional peace is one of the most valuable things you can build in life. One powerful habit that helps you stop getting angry is learning not to react immediately. Most emotional damage happens in moments of impulsive reaction. People say things they regret. People destroy relationships in seconds. People make emotional decisions that create long-term consequences, all because they reacted too quickly. Emotionally intelligent people understand the importance of slowing down. When anger appears, pause. Take a breath. Observe the emotion instead of immediately obeying it. Because emotions are temporary, but actions have consequences. Not every situation deserves your energy. Not every comment deserves your response. Not every insult deserves your attention. Sometimes silence is strength. Sometimes walking away is strength. And sometimes protecting your peace is more important than proving a point. One of the greatest skills you can develop is emotional discipline. Anyone can react emotionally. Anyone can yell. Anyone can lose control. But calmness under pressure is rare. And rare qualities create powerful people. Another important truth is this: your ego creates many unnecessary emotional reactions. Ego constantly wants validation. Ego wants to feel important. Ego wants to be right all the time. And because of that, ego turns small situations into emotional battles. Someone disagrees with you, and ego feels attacked. Someone criticizes you, and ego becomes defensive. Someone succeeds, and ego becomes jealous. But when you stop feeding ego constantly, your mind becomes lighter. You stop needing to win every argument. You stop needing approval from everyone. You stop taking every disagreement personally. And life becomes far more peaceful. Another reason people get emotionally bothered easily is because they spend too much time focusing on things they cannot control. They obsess over opinions. They obsess over the past. They obsess over unfair situations. But worrying endlessly about uncontrollable things only steals your energy. Strong people focus their energy differently. They focus on what they can improve, their mindset, their habits, their reactions, their goals, and because of that, they protect their emotional peace better. One of the best ways to stop getting angry is improving your self-awareness. Pay attention to what triggers you emotionally. Certain insecurities create stronger emotional reactions. Sometimes people become angry because they feel disrespected. Sometimes because they feel ignored. Sometimes because they feel rejected. But emotional reactions often reveal unresolved pain inside us. That is why healing matters. The more secure you become internally, the less external situations control you. Emotionally stable people are not calm because life is perfect. They are calm because they learn not to let every problem destroy their inner peace. Another important lesson is learning the difference between responding and reacting. Reaction is impulsive. Response is intentional. Reaction is emotional. Response is controlled. Reaction creates chaos. Response creates clarity. And mature people learn how to respond instead of react. Another thing that creates unnecessary anger is comparison. Social media has made comparison constant. People compare relationships, money, bodies, success, lifestyle, and comparison quietly creates frustration and insecurity. But comparison destroys peace. There will always be someone richer, more attractive, more successful, more talented, and chasing constant comparison creates endless dissatisfaction. Real peace comes from focusing on your own journey. One of the most powerful mindset shifts you can develop is realizing that other people's behavior often reflects them more than it reflects you. When someone lies constantly, it reflects their character. When someone spreads negativity constantly, it reflects their mindset. When someone insults others constantly, it often reflects insecurity inside them. And once you truly understand this, you stop absorbing negativity so personally. Emotionally mature people observe behavior without immediately internalizing it. This does not mean tolerating abuse. It means understanding that not everything deserves emotional attachment. One major reason people remain emotionally reactive is because they never learned how to process emotions properly. Instead of understanding emotions, they suppress them until they explode, or they allow emotions to completely control their actions. But emotional intelligence requires balance. You acknowledge emotions without becoming controlled by them. You feel anger without becoming anger. You feel disappointment without becoming consumed by it. That awareness creates emotional freedom. Another secret to staying calm is protecting your environment. Your environment affects your emotional state more than you realize. Negative people drain energy. Drama drains energy. Chaos drains energy. Constant exposure to conflict changes your mood and mindset. That is why emotionally strong people become selective about who they spend time with. Peaceful people protect their peace carefully. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. And sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is create distance from people who constantly bring negativity into your life. Another important lesson is learning not to argue with everyone. Some people are committed to misunderstanding you. Some people only want conflict. Some people are emotionally immature, and trying to force understanding from unwilling people only creates exhaustion. Wisdom is knowing when a conversation is no longer productive. You do not need to attend every argument you are invited to. Another thing that helps reduce anger is practicing gratitude. Anger often grows when the mind focuses constantly on what is missing, unfair, or frustrating. But gratitude shifts perspective. It reminds you of what still exists. Your health, your opportunities, your growth, your future, your ability to change your life. Gratitude does not erase problems, but it prevents negativity from completely consuming your mind. Another major source of emotional frustration is unrealistic expectations. Many people expect life to always feel fair, but life is unpredictable. Sometimes good people get hurt, sometimes plans fail, sometimes disappointment happens, and resisting reality creates suffering. Peace grows when you learn acceptance. Acceptance does not mean weakness. Acceptance means understanding reality clearly instead of fighting against things you cannot change immediately. One powerful skill emotionally calm people develop is learning how to let things go. Most people carry emotional pain for years. Old arguments, old rejection, old betrayal, old embarrassment, and mentally they relive those experiences repeatedly. But holding on to anger hurts you more than anyone else. Forgiveness is not always about excusing behavior. Sometimes forgiveness is simply deciding you no longer want to carry emotional poison inside yourself. Because anger destroys inner peace slowly, and peace is far more valuable than revenge. Another reason people become emotionally bothered so easily is because they depend too heavily on external validation. When your self-worth depends entirely on how people treat you, your emotions become unstable. One compliment makes you feel valuable. One criticism destroys your confidence. One rejection ruins your mood. That is emotional dependence. But emotionally free people build self-worth internally. They do not need constant praise to feel okay. They do not collapse emotionally every time someone disapproves of them. And because of that, they remain calmer under pressure. Confidence plays a huge role in emotional stability. Insecure people react more emotionally because everything feels threatening. Criticism feels dangerous. Rejection feels unbearable. Disagreement feels personal. But secure people understand something important. Not everyone will like you. Not everyone will understand you. And that is okay. The moment you stop needing universal approval, your mind becomes lighter. Another important habit is learning not to overthink everything. Overthinking creates emotional suffering that often does not even reflect reality. People replay conversations repeatedly. They imagine worst-case scenarios constantly. They analyze tiny details endlessly. And mentally, they create stress that may never happen. Calm people simplify things. They stop assuming the worst constantly. They stop creating unnecessary emotional stories inside their minds. And because of that, they protect their peace more effectively. One of the greatest forms of emotional maturity is learning to stay calm when people try to provoke you intentionally. Some people want reactions. Some people enjoy conflict. Some people gain satisfaction from emotionally disturbing others. And the moment you react impulsively, they gain control over your emotions. But when you stay calm, you keep your power. Calmness can frustrate negativity more than anger ever will. Another important truth is this: you cannot heal emotionally while constantly feeding your mind negativity. The content you consume affects your emotions. The conversations you entertain affect your mindset. The people around you affect your energy. If your life is constantly filled with drama, arguments, outrage, and negativity, emotional peace becomes difficult. Protect your mind carefully. Your mind is like soil. Whatever you feed consistently will grow. Feed anger constantly, and anger grows. Feed peace consistently, and peace grows. One thing emotionally peaceful people understand deeply is that life is temporary. Most arguments people obsess over today will not matter years from now. Most embarrassing moments will eventually be forgotten. Most opinions people fear are temporary. And remembering how short life truly is changes perspective. You stop wasting energy on meaningless conflict. You stop allowing small situations to steal your happiness constantly. You become more focused on peace, growth, relationships, and purpose. Another important lesson is learning patience. Anger often grows from impatience. People want immediate results, immediate understanding, immediate success, immediate change. But life requires patience. Growth requires patience. Healing requires patience. And patient people often experience less emotional chaos because they stop fighting reality constantly. Patience creates emotional stability, and emotional stability creates peace. The ultimate secret to not getting angry or bothered by anyone is learning how to master yourself. Because external peace always begins internally. The world will never become perfectly calm. People will still disappoint you. Criticism will still exist. Negativity will still exist. Difficult situations will still happen. But your power comes from learning how to respond differently. Emotionally strong people are not free from problems. They simply stop allowing every problem to control their emotional state. They protect their peace intentionally. They understand that energy is valuable, and they stop wasting that energy on unnecessary emotional battles. Remember this: not every situation deserves your attention. Not every opinion deserves your reaction. Not every person deserves access to your emotions. Peaceful people become selective with their energy, and that changes everything. One of the strongest signs of growth is emotional calmness. When little things stop disturbing you constantly, your life improves dramatically. Your relationships improve. Your mental health improves. Your focus improves. Your decision-making improves. And your happiness increases because your emotions stop depending entirely on external events. Real strength is not loud aggression. Real strength is calmness. Real strength is self-control. Real strength is staying grounded while chaos exists around you. That is true emotional power. And emotional power creates freedom. Freedom from constant stress. Freedom from endless overthinking. Freedom from emotional exhaustion. Freedom from allowing other people to control your peace. Never forget this. People will always have opinions. Some people will misunderstand you. Some people will criticize you unfairly. Some people will project their pain onto you. Do not allow that to poison your spirit. Protect your peace. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. Because inner peace is one of the most valuable things you can build in this world. The calmer you become, the clearer you think. The clearer you think, the better decisions you make. And the better decisions you make, the better your life becomes. You do not need to become emotionless. You simply need to become emotionally intelligent. Learn to pause before reacting. Learn to let go of unnecessary negativity. Learn to stop taking everything personally. Learn to focus on what truly matters. And most importantly, learn that peace is not found by controlling everyone around you. Peace is found by learning how to control yourself. That is where real freedom begins.